tow bar behind the 113. We crossed the 95 coming back in, State Road 95 over there. And it was a pretty steep bank coming off. And then it flattened out, and then you crossed over the 95. Well, the MP said you were only allowed 15 miles an hour from the top of that hill down till you crossed over 95. And they'd sit down there and they'd block the traffic. They'd let 2 or 3 vehicles come, and then somebody come in on 95. They'd stop the convoy and let the traffic go through, and then they'd stop it again. You know, there come my time to go down the hill and cross over. Everything was going fine. I had no problem with it. But we started off, and when the third tank back there, the last tank, come over the crest of that hill, with its weight, it picked that 113 up in the air on those 2 tow bars. It was actually up in the air above it. And that was on. So I looked back to see what was going on, just had my head, you know, sticking out of the part. And I seen that, what's it doing up there? And I reached and got the throttle on it. I pulled the throttle. Well, the 113 went back down. But at that time, I was running probably 50, 55 miles an hour, you know, get it back down. And I hit the 95 and just, and here comes the MP in his Jeep with his lighter flashing, you know. So I got it just back down to where I could stop. That MP run right around in front of me and stopped his Jeep like crossways road right in front of that.
He's got a death wish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was. Really, it was a death wish for me. If I hadn't, you know, and keep from hitting him, I locked it down, and I locked my right brake down, and it pulled it and went in front of him. I never hit him. He jumped out of that Jeep, and he was calling me all kinds of names and everything. But I turned around and looked, and the commander run right between me and him. And he crawled on top of that there little old MP. He chewed him up in one side, down the other for running. He mostly did it because he run in front of me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
With the weight that I had, here I was with 2 60s and a 113 on top of, all behind that, and the weight of that retriever. That retriever.
What is a retriever?
It's like a big record. What it is. It's but it's on a tank frame.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, and it's a big tank, and it had a 1,600 horse motor in it. Mm-hmm. The motor, they said if it's sitting on the floor, it was higher than my head.
Oh my!
It was a huge motor. Weight, but it had, I don't know how much power it had. It'd pull anything you put it up against. And
so it was like the towboat of land.
Right. It was made to go out and get tanks and bring them in.
Yeah.
That's what it was made for.
Yeah.
And see, when you go to combat, and he probably knows this too, you put tow hooks on all vehicles. They all got tow hooks on them. Tow cables, I mean. And they're stretched from one side to the other one of it. So when they're stretched, they're about this far away from the vehicle. So the retriever, if you're in a combat where they're firing back and forth, I don't have to get out of that retriever to hook a cable to you.
Yeah.
I back up to the front of it, and when I feel the cable, the old big cable, just big around on the front of it, when I feel hit the front of the vehicle, I drop the cable and then pull off. Yeah. And it'll catch those every time. It'll catch those. The way the cable's made, it'll roll over and grab those cables, and you just pick the end of it up and you take off. Huh. Never get out.
Huh. Yeah, we had big hooks welded to the back of the Amtraks, the old P5 Amtraks, and it had a hole in it about that big, as both sides. And on the Amtrak Retriever, which was a modified Amtrak, but with a big boom on top of it, and the cable, and had the tow bar in front that you could just drop the tow bar and pull a tank out. because the Marine Corps had the big, almost like a trailer hitch on the back of their M60s.
Mhm.
And you could drop that right and never get out of the Amtrak, just drop it.
Drop it,
on there
take it every
and
time.
pull it right out. So we had to certify as a retrieval vehicle, you had to go up with your boom, extend the boom with the hook, and literally just let it slide into the hook on the back of that Amtrak. When it did that, you just retrieve it back and away you go.
Okay.
So
Okay.
And
you
put your
get a
thumb
little
down and
practice
delete the
on
thumb.
them. Little practice on
You'd
hooking
be
it.
taking pictures of me without my permission, young lady.